Welcome everybody. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining me in this live stream. All right, so we have a bunch of things going on right here, right now. It's a very busy day. I want to point out a couple different things on the docket right now, out in the headlines that we want to pay attention to. And as you noticed in the headline of this video, the title of this live stream. So that's what we're going to talk about in this one. And then also I want to point out a couple other things that are also happening right now that I didn't put in the title. Okay. So first things first, let's talk about, let's just go in order of what I wrote in the title of this live stream, which is electronic federal payments. Let's talk about that super fast here. Okay, so today, you probably heard this from me. You've probably seen it out in the headlines. You've probably seen it other places, but this has been a big deal. I've talked about this a few times here over the last several months. Most notably, I talked about it, I don't know, in a live stream the other day. I talked about it in a video the other day. But electronic federal payments, here it is, right here, right now. It is now going into effect as of now, in accordance with the executive order that the president signed back on March 25th of this year. So what is that, 6 months ago now? Over 6 months ago, the president signed the executive order, and it is now in effect as in, well, I mean, it was in effect as of when he signed it, but I guess what I should say is now the time is here, September 30th, right here, right now, as I host this live stream. Tomorrow's October 1st, obviously. Here's the deal. Electronic federal payments, what do I mean by this? No more paper payments. It's as easy as that, okay? No more paper payments from any federal entity. No more paper payments whatsoever. Not happening. Everything must be electronic now. Okay, so with that being said, what do you need to know about this? Well, most people here in this community, again, that watch the videos here on the channel revolving around Social Security and all benefits administered by Social Security, including VA and RRB benefits, all the benefits for over 74 million beneficiaries, all of these are transitioned into electronic payments now. So for those individuals out there that may be currently getting or were getting paper payments, as in literally a paper check arriving into your mailbox every single month from Social Security or any of these federal entities, it's not happening anymore, okay? It's all transitioning into electronic as of now. It's fully in effect, okay? So just take that into consideration. If you were previously getting paper payments, you need to transition into electronic like right away, like right now. You need to do that, okay? I know it's not very many people out there in general, but that is, very important, okay? So you can do it in a couple different ways. Number one, bank account, savings account, checking account, something like that. Or it could be a direct express card. All of that qualifies as electronic payments from these federal entities, okay? All right, so that's that. And yeah, I'll keep you posted on that as we go forward, but I mean, it's already in effect. There's really no reason to, keep hammering on this because it's here and now. This is the deal, okay? And the whole purpose behind this, by the way, is to, number one, safeguard beneficiaries, because paper payments are apparently 16 times more likely to be lost, stolen, or altered, and they cost significantly less, as in electronic payments cost less than 15 cents, and paper payments cost about 50 cents. It's about a 35-cent savings per transaction that has transitioned from paper into electronic, okay? So the whole idea is saving that 35 cents across millions and millions and millions of transactions every single year, saving the federal government, well, a lot of money, millions and millions and millions of dollars, okay? All right, now that's those paper payments. Now, if you are somebody that typically files a federal tax return, I know a lot of you here in the community don't file tax returns, that's okay. However, let's talk about this for a second. If you file a federal tax return, and if you are somebody that generally expects a refund from your federal tax return, again, this is far more people that get paper refund payments from the IRS, right, as a federal tax refund. It's not happening anymore either. They've also phased out paper payments in the form of rebate checks to individuals because of tax refunds. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's not happening anymore either. That also, as of now, today, is also transitioning into electronic federal payments. In other words, when you go to file a federal tax return, like early next year, when you go to do that and you are awaiting your refund, you're going to have to get it in a couple different ways. Direct deposit into a bank account, a checking account, electronically. That's how you're going to get it going forward. Okay, anyway. That's number one. Now, number two on my list of things I want to talk about today is the last day of the fiscal year of 2025. So obviously not the calendar year. It's not the end of the calendar year, but it is the end of the fiscal year 2025. Tomorrow starts the new 2026 fiscal year for the federal government. Why do we care? A lot of things are changing. That's why it's such a big deal, and why so many things are right here at the end of the year. Well, the fiscal year, I should say. It's not the end of the calendar year. I'm not that nuts, right? I know better than that. It's the end of the fiscal year. Anyway, for the federal government. So a lot of things are always stacked right here, right now, today and tomorrow, big time as we transition into the new fiscal year tomorrow. Okay, so that's that. Now, for those of you that are on SNAP benefits, food stamps, EBT, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, whatever other names people call it, but it's all referring to the same program. These benefits also run by the fiscal year for the federal government. Okay, so this is number 3, and again, consistent with the title of this video, which is, this is number 3. Those of you receiving SNAP benefits, remember, we got about a 2% COLA based on SNAP benefits. Now remember, not the COLA for Social Security. That's not what I'm talking about here. That is totally different. That will be announced in about 2 weeks. The COLA for Social Security and all the fixed income benefits, that'll be about 2 weeks from now is when it will be released, okay? Actually, it's a little bit more than 2 weeks to be fair with you. We're talking about the COLA for food stamps, SNAP benefits, EBT, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. They also get a COLA raise every year. This year, or I should say going into 2026, tomorrow, the fiscal year, it is about 2%. It depends on your household size, but it's about 2%. Remember, in October, when you start getting your new benefit in the month of October, it's going to reflect that higher benefit amount. Now, I had a video out, I don't know, 2 weeks ago? No, it was more than that. I don't know, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. Yeah, probably a month ago now. Yeah, probably about a month ago, where I was breaking down the different maximum household size allotments. Okay, so the allotment you can get based on your household size for food stamps. And on that video, I saw a number of comments rolling in saying, this isn't true. I don't get that amount. For example, a household of 1 can now get up to, as of tomorrow, can now start getting up to $298 a month. I saw a lot of comments coming in saying, you said $298. I don't get that, and I'm not getting that. Okay. These are the maximums. Just because it's the maximum doesn't mean you're going to get the maximum. It's the maximum, okay? It's the maximum you can get up to. You can get up to that amount. You cannot get more than that amount for your respective household size. Does that make sense? Okay, so you could get, let's just say for an individual, a household of 1, maximum is $298. You could get $24. You could get anywhere between $24 and $298, anywhere between that, okay? So anyway, and it's all based on your household size. For example, a household size of 4 people goes up to $994 effective as of tomorrow, okay? So by the way, when I say tomorrow, it does not mean that your payment will arrive tomorrow. It simply means that starting tomorrow is October 1st. Tomorrow is October 1st, the beginning of the new fiscal year, and that's when these new higher benefit amounts start arriving for SNAP beneficiaries whenever you get paid in your respective state for your food stamp benefit. That is when you're going to see that higher benefit amount come in, okay? So just take that into consideration. And also remember this much as well, that the new minimum benefit goes from $23 to $24, again, effective as of tomorrow, okay? Now, these new benefit amounts will be in effect starting tomorrow, October 1st, all the way through September 30th of next year, which is the 2026 fiscal year, again, for the federal government. So that's what that's all about. Got that? Okay. So when you get your food stamp benefit in the month of October, it may be a little bit more. No guarantees. It may be a little bit more, but also it may be the same. It may be the same. Okay. Now, another thing is as well, remember this. This is another nasty thing about it, as long as I'm talking about food stamps. When we do get the official announcement on the COLA for Social Security and all benefits administered by Social Security, when we do get that official announcement on that COLA in a little more than 2 weeks from right now, remember, those of you on food stamps, SNAP benefits, EBT, are likely also going to get communication saying, hey, heard that you got a raise on your Social Security. Yep, you got that raise. Well, guess what? Now your SNAP benefits are going to be reduced a little bit, and you're going to forfeit some of that money, okay? I mean, you already know this. You know that this is the situation. They do it every single year, and this year is not going to be any exception to the rule, so just be prepared. That's likely going to be coming as well, and it all depends on how big that COLA is for Social Security to determine how much of a depletion of your SNAP benefit that you're going to see because of the raise of your income, right? So weird that they still do this. I don't know. Remember this much as well. I'll just allude to this super fast here. About 2 years ago or so, maybe it was a year ago. I think it was a year, maybe 2 years ago. Anyway, they introduced a piece of legislation. It was called COLAs Don't Count Act. Do you remember me talking about this? This was literally a piece of legislation they introduced, which basically said the COLAs are not going to impact and offset SNAP benefits, food stamps. They couldn't even get it done. They could not even get that done. That is the most basic piece of legislation in the world. It probably took like 3 sentences and like 1/2 paper to write that thing up, and they could not even get that done. There you go, right? So anyway, that's out there. I have not heard anything said about that in probably a year or so, give or take a little bit. That was out there as well, and that would have fixed the problem, but they didn't do it. Okay. Anyway, so that's that. Now let's talk about the other menace in the room right now and see how this is shaping up to be. But we're likely going into a government shutdown tonight. Okay, just be prepared for this. Government shutdown tonight. This looks like a very, very, very real possibility and something that's likely going to happen based on the most recent data, what we're seeing out there right now. John Thune, who is the leader of the Senate on the Republican side, he is bringing a vote today in the Senate and trying to keep the government open at least for the next about 7 or so weeks out until November 21st. Probably not going to happen. Just being real with you. Probably not going to happen. Therefore, there's a very, very, very high likelihood that we are going into a government shutdown tonight at midnight. And with that being said, we will also see some services, some things being impacted as a result of a government shutdown. Now, I had a live stream yesterday evening where I talked about this. I'm going to point this out super fast, really quickly again, because I know that some of you here in this community are very worried about this. Just let me handle this for just a second, which is, are your Social Security benefits going to be impacted with a government shutdown? No, not at all. You will be totally fine. Your benefits will continue to arrive. And again, it doesn't matter if it's Social Security, retirement, SSDI, survivors, spousal, SSI, VA, RRB, any of those benefits whatsoever, Medicare, Medicaid, all of those, VA, all of those benefits, they're good. You will continue to get your benefits on time, no delay there whatsoever. If and when we go into a government shutdown, again, high likelihood that we go into the government shutdown tonight. Okay, just want you to be prepared for that. How long will we potentially be in this government shutdown? Who knows? Who knows? That's the big question. Who knows? We have no idea. We're not quite sure, just being fair with you. The last time we were in a government shutdown, I looked into this. It was back in 2018 for 35 days. Apparently, that was the longest government shutdown that we've been in the last 40 years. So that's just what I was reading on that. Okay, so yeah, there you go. But anyway, so just be prepared for this. If this actually happens, which, again, let's just be fair, lawmakers love drama. Whether we actually go into the government shutdown or not, or if they wait until the very last minute to say, just kidding, we got a deal, just kidding, it's 11:52 p.m. and we got a deal. Yeah, they may do that. I would not be shocked one bit. They've done it before. Okay, they do it all the time, in fact. So I would not be shocked one bit if they do this. But if they do not come together on an agreement and we do go into a government shutdown, then different services will be impacted. Now, I want to point this out as well. Although your Social Security benefit checks will not be directly impacted whatsoever, some of the services within Social Security will likely also be impacted. In other words, some of the administrative aspects of Social Security could be impacted by a government shutdown. In fact, I was literally just reading like 15 minutes before I started this live stream, I was just reading about it. Apparently, there's like 6,000 plus people within Social Security that would be furloughed. In other words, what that means is basically like a temporary layoff, right? A temporary layoff, relieved from duties, maybe without pay for a while, and like 6,000 plus people that could potentially impact the processing of applications for benefits, the disability reviews, the overpayment situation going on with benefits and collecting those benefits, as well as sending out those letters, all that kind of detail like that, like all the non-fancy stuff behind the scenes that manages the Social Security program, that would be impacted. But the actual distribution of our payments, no, not at all. You'll be totally fine. You'll continue to get paid. Just no problem whatsoever. Okay. All right. So those are some of the items. Next, I want to throw something else out there that I thought is very interesting. This has like literally no impact on anything. Well, actually, it does have an impact. It does have a pretty big impact, but I guess it doesn't really, yeah, I don't know. There's really no reason for me to talk about it, but I'm just going to throw it out there anyway. So remember back at the beginning of the year when the president, well, a bunch of different people actually came forward. It wasn't just the president, but anyway, basically they came forward and they basically gave these like severance packages to federal employees, right? Do you remember this back in the beginning of the year? They were basically offering federal employees like, hey, if you quit, if you retire early or whatever, if you just basically leave your federal position, we'll give you severance out until the end of September. Well, that's today. 100,000 people. In fact, I saw a couple different sources. One source said 100,000 people, and another source said 154,000 people today are done. Federal employees that are their severance runs out today. So it's a lot of people. 100,000, 150,000, whatever the number actually is. I don't know. I saw different reports giving different statistics. So whatever that number really is, whether it's 100 or 154, still a lot of people. 1,000 people, by the way, 154,000, 100,000 people is what that is. So that's, I don't know. I don't know, is that a good or a bad thing that is actually happening? Because are we going to see this overall, maybe impacting the economy a little bit? Could it possibly slow things down? Could, right? So anyway, just a little interesting point there that I wanted to bring to your attention. So there you go. That's all what is going to be happening as of right now anyway. Let's just see what the rest of the day brings as far as the vote out of the Senate today to keep the government open. If that actually passes or not, let's just see. I will keep you posted on that. I don't know if I'll be back later in another live stream. Maybe I will, or more details if there's something else that comes up. Otherwise, I'll certainly keep you posted on that. And there you go. Just want to break it all down for you. There's a lot of things that they do this. They do this every single year, by the way. And as far as like everything piled at the very end of the year, because it's the end of the fiscal year, so they pile a whole bunch of things today and then a whole bunch of things that start tomorrow. So even though it's like, wait, isn't it just like 1 day difference? It is. But when you look at it from a calendar aspect of the federal government, it's 2 totally different years fiscally for the federal government. So it's actually a pretty big deal. Make sense? All right, anyway. I'm gonna have my wife come in here in just a second. So, hey, Corey, if you're listening to this, come and help me out if you can, please. Thank you. But anyway, for those of you, you've probably seen this already, and I know you have. You got that phone number right there. And I know that some of you here in the community have already called. I've been giving shout outs to all kinds of people lately. But seriously, thousands and thousands and thousands of you here in this community. It's incredible to see how many people have called. I've seen some of the numbers. It's nuts. But yeah, thousands of you have called that phone number right there to get some free help with your Medicare. If you're currently on Medicare, write that phone number down. Seriously, write that down. Quick little pro tip, quick little hint. Hint. Write that phone number down. Seriously, write that phone number down. We'll talk about this a whole lot more here over the coming days. I'm just going to give you a little pro tip. Write that sucker down. Write that phone number down. It's going to be massively helpful for you here in the coming days. Hint, tomorrow. Okay. Hint. So anyway, write that down. And if you're currently on Medicare, take note of that number. Otherwise, if you're turning 65 or retiring here relatively soon, call that number like right now today. Seriously, call the number right now today. Otherwise, stay tuned. I'll keep you posted. And after you talk to them, by the way, people right there to get some free help with your Medicare. After you talk to them, drop a comment down below on any video. Use the word chapter within your comment. Let me know how it goes, and I'd love to give you a shout out and feature you